and welcome to My Voices Have Tourettes, and that's why faces are overrated. My name is Dan Zarin. Let's get started here. So today's episode is brought to you by my Tourettes, apparently. It's also brought to you by Gamesel Studio, where we're recording. The Secret Cellar, Iceland's first and only comedy club, and Smáude's volcano sauces, the greatest hot sauces I've ever had in my entire life. So today I am joined by two incredible people, both comedians, but one of them is my co-host for the day, Þórhallur Þórhallsson.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you enjoying the earthquakes that we're getting?
Oh, it's been so much fun. It's the most action I've gotten in months. My belly is shaking and everything's going on, so it's been fun. Yeah.
But no one's with you.
No.
We're up to what, like 100,000 now?
I think like 50,000, something like that. And that's not, but we don't feel most of them. So most of them are really small, but there have been a lot of earthquakes going on for the past 3 weeks now. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's safe to say that the scientific term is Iceland is pissed. It's basically the scientific. And actually, apparently, there was a news story that said that if you are educated, you can feel more of them, and if you didn't go to school, you can't feel any of them.
Yeah, they did like a survey, and the results were like if the higher education you have, the more likely you are to feel the earthquake. So even though I'm not educated, I have felt a few.
That is the dumbest like bull I've ever heard.
I know, it's bullshit.
But it was an official article. But based on the looks of confusion from our guest, we should probably introduce our guest.
Yeah.
Our guest is an absolutely incredible comedian. I got the pleasure of competing against her in a contest through Flappers Comedy in. Wow, I can't even talk now. Wow. Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank, California. It was the Uncle Clyde's comedy contest. She has got so many stories about horses, apparently, but she also has prosopagnosia, which means that she is unable to tell people who people are by their faces, according to her, unless they are particularly ugly. So we'll get to that in a minute. Let's just welcome Fiona Reid.
Woo!
Thanks. I've only felt 2 earthquakes in my life. How stupid am I?
Pretty stupid.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say that you just didn't graduate any of the schools.
Oh, I know. Yeah.
It's so weird that was an official article.
Oh,
it was
stupid. Yeah,
it was one of the big media companies and everything. They were just like, yeah, if you're dumb, you can't feel them, and it's just like, well, okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out if you guys were riffing and made that up.
That was actually in the news.
Wow.
Yeah, we've got an earthquake that's supposedly is about to erupt. So it's just been constant Shake City here. It's just been like, I'll be in the middle of like doing something on my computer, and then I'll just be like, and there's an earthquake. And then five minutes later, I'll be like, and there's another one. Iceland, calm down. We get it. You're going through puberty. Calm down.
And there's been a lot of jokes now what the eruption is going to be called. Do you remember a big one that was called Eyjafjallajökull?
Oh yeah, that's a catchy name.
Yeah, but now
very memorable.
Yeah, it's going to be even worse now. It's going to be Þráinskjaldarhraun.
Jesus.
Yeah. Maybe it's moving around, so it depends where it's going to erupt, how difficult the name is going to be.
That's like Steve Hughes has a bit about the Welsh language, about how it's like some guy tripped carrying a box of Scrabble. Yeah. I feel like Icelandic is like if you had like a box of Scrabble, but most of the letters are missing, so you just had to write new ones on it.
I once heard it described as like your cat just runs over a keyboard and whatever comes out, that's the name, you know.
Yeah.
Are you both originally from Iceland?
No, I'm originally from Boston.
Oh, okay. I was like, this doesn't make sense. The accent changes.
No, yeah. No,
well,
I'm the Icelandic one. Yes.
But I could talk like an Icelander, but it gets a bit tough.
Oh yeah, I took his word for it. I'm like, oh, he's Icelandic, and then I heard you, and I'm like, oh, you're real.
That guy's legit. No, I totally believe that.
I just fell for it because of the beard. I was like, yeah, beard, Iceland. Yep.
Well,
I don't know why.
To be fair, if I were Icelandic, the beard would be like a light beige.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah.
Because there's so much sun, or like lack of sun here. So the beard would just not get any color at all.
Yeah.
It would. You
don't have an Icelandic beard. not at all.
Icelanders are like vampires.
Yeah.
No, they go out like when you went to LA with me.
Yeah.
You stepped out of the plane and instantly got sunburned.
Yeah.
It was like a magic trick.
I burst into flames. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
But Fiona is here. We should probably talk to Fiona. Welcome. How have you been lately?
I've been good.
Yeah.
Got my first COVID vaccine. I'm excited.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How was it? I heard that like the first one isn't bad, but the second one ends up being tough.
Yeah, I heard the second one you'll get sick. The first one's fine. The microchip's a little sore, but I'm good.
Yeah. Gotta make sure Google knows how to advertise the cure.
Yeah.
Google already knows where I am all the time.
Yeah. I mean,
I got a message today that Þórhallur is in Iceland, and I'm just like, I know.
I don't know why that happened. I don't know why.
Like, it's just like, you're right next to me. I know you're in Iceland.
Oh, that's a weird message on like Facebook or something.
Yeah. It was just like Þórhallur is in Reykjavik, Iceland. And I'm like, no shit.
Good to know. Good to know. He's in the same apartment.
Oh, that's strange.
Yeah.
It's creepy. Like as technology gets crazier and crazier, it's just like, I feel like it's just going to start going, just so you know, Fiona Reid is currently at this address. She is sitting at her computer and she just had breakfast. It's just like, oh, well, thanks.
Oh yeah, you read my Facebook app update.
Yeah, exactly.
If I bothered to use social media.
See, you're searching for this on Google. Oh.
Right.
Yeah.
But you are living in Maryland.
No, I'm currently in Nevada now.
You're in Nevada.
Yeah.
Why'd you? I mean, why on earth would you ever leave Maryland?
Well, definitely, I had already left Maryland like 5 or 6 years ago. I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'll go back for the crabs and family, but I went to college in California, and then how I ended up in Nevada was just weird, and it had to do with the pandemic because I had a friend who worked on a ranch here, and I was like, oh, I'll hang out for 2 months or something when just for the pandemic to blow over, and then I just ended up getting a job here and living here.
Oh, okay. And what do you do now?
I'm a horse trainer on a ranch here.
You're a horse trainer. Oh,
yeah.
How is that?
It's good. It's good. It's fun. You just got to figure out every day how to get them better. And I help birth babies, and I also literally jerk off horses.
Oh,
we eat the baby horses here in Iceland. We don't jerk them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
We went from jerking off horses to eating their babies.
No, I'm so curious about this. Like, have you had it?
Yeah, it's delicious.
Is it good?
Delicious.
So we're about to have a bunch of with 10 babies or something born here, and I have to help. And sometimes things go wrong.
Yeah. Ship them over here. I'll eat it.
Well, no, Can you just send me a recipe? If one comes out dead or something, or it has to be put down.
Yeah, I'll send you a recipe. No problem.
Is there a special breed you guys have for eating, or?
I mean, we do have an Icelandic breed. So the Icelandic horse is a little bit different. They are smaller and smarter. They have
feel the earthquakes.
They have an extra walk here in Iceland.
What's it called? The breed?
I have no idea. Hestur.
I work with a Dutch breed.
Yeah.
The Frisian.
All right.
Well, the thing about the Icelandic horses is that they're actually not allowed to leave Iceland and return.
No.
Because in Iceland they're so protective of like the breeding process that if like a show horse leaves Iceland, that's actually the last time they leave Iceland.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of with most Europe horses. If they ship it off to America, they don't want it back. There's a thing that they're like, they send their trash to America.
Yeah. The horse is now voting for Trump or something.
Yeah.
Comes back a Republican, and Iceland's just like, you know what? We've got enough problems in the government as is. We don't need any horses voting for more corrupt politicians.
Yeah. So we have our own Icelandic horse. That's the breed. I think it's just
So is it like horsey burgers or steak?
It's like a steak.
It could
like
be,
a steak.
Yeah, it's more steak, but it can be both.
Yeah, but it's more like a steak thing.
It's kind of dry.
I have a reason to go to Iceland.
Yeah, eat horse.
Writing that down.
I'm just loving the fact that she mentioned that she jerks off horses. You mentioned that you eat horses, and she goes, "Okay, that is way more interesting. Let's talk about that."
That's literally, I'm paid to jerk off horses. I don't know if that makes me a horse sex worker, but I'm like, yeah, that's my job.
I don't get paid, but I do it. Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I'm joking. I just did it.
I can't tell which part of that was too far.
I don't know.
None of it was.
Oh, none of it. Absolutely not. But I read something interesting on your Flappers bio that you said you may have too many stories about how horses are not as pretty as they seem.
Oh yeah. Oh, whenever I'm at parties or something, and before COVID, people would mention something about a horse, and I'd be like, "Oh, that's cool," and we talk about it because I like would work with them before. And then I'd like go into stories about, I'm like, we don't give them haircuts. We just rip their hair out of their like neck.
Oh, really?
And stuff like that.
Yeah.
They can't feel it. You just rip it out and stuff like that. And I just like go off into like weird stories people wouldn't think of about horses.
Oh.
I have a scar because a horse bit me on the throat.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
It looks like a weird hickey now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you have a hickey? No, I just left it. It's a horse.
Yeah. Oh no, someone actually was like, "What, a vacuum cleaner get you? You fun last night?" And I was like, "No, a horse bit me on the neck 2 months ago."
I was jerking this horse off, and he started giving me a hickey.
The horse just liked the hair pulling a bit too much.
Yeah.
But oh geez, do you think animals actually, like, when you say the animals can't, like the horses can't feel it, do you think they actually can't feel it, or it's just that they can't speak English so they can't tell you, and maybe they're just so tired of the fact that people are always doing this that they're just like, you know what, I give up.
Oh, they could tell you. Like, there is one horse, I think she feels it, because every time I went to do, like, when we first saw her mane was shaved weird, and we were like, "Why'd you do that?" And she's like, "Just don't pull her mane." And then we went to pull it, and that horse is the sweetest, kindest, cuddly horse, and that one will try and murder you.
Yeah. So they will let you know. Yeah,
They'll let you know if it hurts.
Yeah.
So that one would have its own documentary on Netflix.
Yeah.
Like the one, it's
the horse
like,
that feels.
And they all start with like that one person going, I mean, you never would have guessed that it would happen with this one. I mean, they were the nicest person. Just starting off, you never would have guessed this horse would murder a human being.
Over a haircut.
Yeah, over a haircut. How did it come about? Well, so I was jerking off this horse, and
not again.
And then he just murdered my best friend. He wasn't even doing anything.
Oh my god.
He was just looking at the horse a little funny, and the horse was like, too tired of the why the long face joke. He was so excited to tell that joke, and then I just stole it from him. So I owe you
why
money.
the long face, buddy?
Yeah.
There we go. But
I'm glad I didn't do it.
I'm also curious though, because so you have prosopagnosia, which is a really fun name to say. I have to admit, it's so fun to say. And you're actually the second person with it that we've had on the show now.
Wait, really?
Yeah. But I'm curious because
we have a theme going on.
Yeah, we have a theme. We've had so many people with Tourette's syndrome. Now we're just gonna get everyone with prosopagnosia.
I have a hard time finding those people. That's why I'm like, can you give me their number?
Well,
I mean, you can't see their faces, so of course it's hard for you to find them.
Yeah.
But I'm curious because you mentioned that, like you talk about how horses aren't as pretty as they seem. Do you think prosopagnosia has something to do with that, or it's just what you've witnessed? You're like, no, they're just pretty weird animals.
Oh, it's just like what I've witnessed is, I think that was what I was trying to say, like the bite on the throat. I don't know, weird stuff.
So you're more talking about the behavior than the
behavior. Yeah, everyone always they look at them, they go, "That's so pretty," and I'm like, I hate that bitch.
Just that one. No, you don't even want to know what that one's been up to lately.
Oh yeah, I have because I train them. I have relationships. I'm like, Da Vinci's cool, Mari's a cunt.
Just straight up, no holds back.
Yeah. I can't say that in front of my boss, but it's like if people ask, I'm like, oh, she's a whore. Oh yeah, there's horses that are whores too.
Just like
I have issues with that.
Just like talking to your boss. The boss is like, so how's Da Vinci doing? Oh, just so amazing. And then the boss turns the back, and you're just like, you are a fucking horrible animal. That's
literally how I work. They'll try and bite me, and I'm like, you want this bitch?
Oh. I'll bite you back,
And did you?
Yeah, you got it.
Did you work with horses before you got to Nevada, or did you start when you got there?
On and off. But all I'd done was riding and picking up poop. This is the first time I've gotten to like jerk off horses and help with births and like the medical side.
That's the promotion.
Yeah. Oh no, it was funny because I was holding the horse pocket pussy because we have a whole lab to process the semen.
Wait. Did you just say the horse pocket pussy?
We actually call it AV, and I have this great boss, and I was like, and I was cleaning it, and I turned to him, and I was like, "What does AV stand for?" And he was like, "Oh, it's artificial vagina." And I was like, "Oh, okay, so I'm not off calling it a pocket pussy."
Yeah.
I love that like we've gotten emails about like from fans of the show. They're just wanted to let you know that this show has really helped me out, and all of them have been between the ages of about 10 to 15.
No.
and now I'm at the point where I kind of want to go, maybe we should put a trigger warning at the beginning of this episode.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
That sounds like, well, if you're 10 to 15 and you live in Nevada, we're hiring for part-time. There's no age limit to start.
No age limit to start. All right. That's the great advertisement campaign for that one. Have you ever wanted to have fun with a horse? How much fun?
You just need somebody to be hands-on.
Okay. Are you?
You got to be real hands-on.
Oh, yeah.
You got to be real handsy with this job. Oh my goodness, that is that. Whew. All right, so
we could talk about this for the whole.
You could, yeah.
I mean, honestly, this could be like a 2-hour conversation just on the. I mean, you get one comedian talking about this on stage, they'll have fun. You get 3, and it's just like the jokes never end. I mean, there's so much material here.
My grandfather used to breed horses here in Iceland. He was well respected. Now I'm talking about jerking off horses on a podcast.
Well, did he do it natural or artificial?
He was probably old style, you know.
Yeah, just get the mom with the dad, let them have fun.
Yeah, probably.
We don't do that.
No,
that's why I'm there.
Just setting up like a romantic candlelit dinner. Just get the grass on there. Make it nice and cozy. Let them come in, meet for the first time if it's the first time. Or go, look, you two have been staring at each other for the past 10 years. It's about time you got busy.
Yeah. I think he just gave them a cup and a magazine. And you just do it
cup in a magazine. Horse Weekly.
We're still talking about this. Okay.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, horse is spelled with a W in the beginning. But oh my goodness, that was probably the dirtiest conversation we have had on this podcast yet. So hats off to you.
Yeah.
That sounds like something I'd do.
Yeah. And the most fun I've had on this show, I think.
that is probably accurate. But actually, I wanted to talk about something that I noticed from your Instagram. We have a bit of like a mutual connection here, in a sense. Has nothing to do with horses. Although that would be a very, very strange U-turn here. But I noticed that you recently performed at Anchor Bay, or not Anchor Bay, Anchor Bar.
Oh, with Evan Cassidy, right?
Yeah.
Is that? Because I like him.
We did so. I think it was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We went to Los Angeles and we performed at one of his nights.
Yeah.
That guy is one of the coolest hosts that I've ever met in my life, because I honestly have never done a single open mic hosted by a guy wearing an American flag suit.
Oh yeah. Fuck Ya Nation, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say that all the time. I don't know where the stickers are he gives out.
I got so confused when I first heard about it though, because like I saw that it was called the Fock Ya Nation, and I was like, is it Fock Ya, like fuck yeah, or is it like Fock Ya, like fuck your nation?
I think you just got to say it with like his accent. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just fuck yeah, like yeah.
Yeah, but I remember we had the greatest interaction there because Þórhallur, I mean, as you can imagine, has the greatest name on the planet.
Yeah.
Easiest to pronounce.
Really easy for Americans, yeah.
Way easier than whatever the earthquake was.
Yeah.
But we went there and like Evan was trying. Oh, he was trying. It was just like Like he gets to me, it's like next on stage is Dan Zarin. I go on, everyone's like boo because you know they hate me. But then Þórhallur goes up and he's just like, and next on stage is what the damn hell is that?
Yeah, it's a strange name. Yeah, I haven't had the best luck with me being introduced in America. Actually,
No.
I've done 2 like open mics, one in New York and one in LA. That time in LA was just like, what is this his name? What's going on? So in New York, I tried Thor. So it's a shorter than Þórhallur, so just Thor. And I added the Icelandic guy just to make myself a little bit different than the other performers. And after like 6 hours, they finally, picked my name out of the hat. And it was like, next on stage is Thor, the Icelandic gay. I was like, I have to work on my handwriting.
Do you roll with that, or do
I
you
did.
Go like,
I did.
Hey guys, I'm not gay. I'm not gay, guys.
No, I rolled with it. I was like, yeah, I'm ready to do whatever to make it in show business. So I'll be gay if you want.
Like, hey, if that's what gets me the views.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gay for pay.
Gay for pay. Yeah. Well, in Icelandic, it's just called, whoever's closest.
Yeah.
But enough drinks in you and, anyone's fair game. But I'm not even sure if I'm going to have to edit any of this. I think I'm just going to leave it all in. This is going to be
go for it.
This is going to be fun. But speaking of stand up, so you have done stand up for how many years now?
Before the pandemic started, 4.
Before the pandemic started, 4.
Yeah, I
4
don't know
years.
how much you can count the pandemic.
No, that's
yeah, 4 years. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was gonna say it, I mean, it makes sense because like we talk about how the pandemic feels like it started like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's been a year, like as of yesterday. I have farm Wi-Fi. Did you hear me?
Yeah. Yeah. It cut out
Yeah.
for a second.
Yeah, no, it's been like a year as of yesterday. I've only done occasional like Zoom shows and stuff, but I don't know if it's the same.
Yeah. What do you think of the Zoom shows? By the way, because they're definitely different.
I think I spent months going, no, that's a waste of my time. That's BS. And then I got booked on because I signed up for it before the pandemic, the San Diego Zoom Comedy Festival. And I was like, oh, damn, I have to get used to Zoom. And it was way better than I assumed it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I feel like this is the Zoom calls and like there's now these like virtual platforms that are popping up. I feel like as long as there's no technical difficulties, it's not bad. Like I did a show recently on a platform where like there were so many technical difficulties. There were people that couldn't turn on their mic. There were people that like their video wasn't working. I couldn't hear half of the people. Someone was talking over the whole thing, and it wasn't even their fault. It was just a big lag.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's getting less and less weird, but it really is weird performing just like to a camera, like yeah.
And
I don't feel like the lag is a pain.
Yeah, and you've done. I mean, you've done the Zoom gigs through Flappers now as well.
Yeah, which is a great thing because it makes me keep doing it.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I love the fact that they're doing this. I mean, and any comedians out there wondering, if you go to flapperscomedy.com, you can check out they have like these auditions. I think you get 2 minutes to like audition for it, and then they just book you for shows if they've got availability. And I've done 2 of them now. One of them was the competition, and one of them was a show that was created by 2 of the writers of Conan. And it was
really,
it's a really cool experience to get to perform with comedians around the world.
Yeah, it really is. Yeah, well, I would never have met you if not for Zoom. Well, you guys say you come to LA.
Well, occasionally. I mean, with the pandemic, it's a bit tough right now. We do more of the quarantine travel. So like I'll take like a picture of us and I'll like Photoshop it in like the Bahamas. Yeah.
It's really sad.
It's very sad. Yeah. It's very sad. We cry afterward.
Yeah.
How do you think stand-up is going to be affected though? Well, like once the pandemic is over, do you think it's going to be affected by these Zoom gigs, or do you think it's just going to add to it?
I think Yeah, I think Zoom gigs might stick around because I think there's people like in the Midwest now who are like, oh, I never would have done this, but now I can. And so, but I think definitely everyone's going to scramble to get back on stage.
Yeah.
I mean, I was in a lineup with somebody from Kuala Lumpur. Like,
Yeah.
that would never happen if it wasn't on Zoom, That's really cool.
Yeah, I think like what I'm interested to see is if like comedy clubs start like incorporating both. So like the live audience and then having Zoom as well. So like you've got your live audience and your virtual audience at the same time.
Oh yeah, streaming everything. That might be interesting.
Yeah, but having like a limited audience because as I mean everyone who's like worked at a comedy club or owned a comedy club, we all know that the fact that you stream your shows and then you get that one comedian that like goes on stage and that's their night to be as offensive as possible. And then you get like all these messages like why'd you allow them to perform? And it's just like we streamed that one, didn't we?
They were just talking about jerking off horses the whole time.
Yeah, the whole time was about jerking off horses.
I'm that person. I have no jokes about jerking off horses yet.
Not yet. What? But maybe after this, you'll have like a whole set full.
I think.
I probably will.
That's going to be your first special, I think. Yeah, it's like an hour of.
We're gonna end this, and someone's gonna be like, "So how was the interview?" Well, we talked about jerking off horses. We talked about earthquakes that have who knows what the fuck that name was.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about me at all, but no. But actually, to talk though, to kind of switch topics here, but I want to get back to the stand-up because you have talked. I think you have talked about this in your stand-up. Is the prosopagnosia, the facial blindness? So how did you find out that you had this? I mean, because here in Iceland, there's a test for it. Did you take a test for it, or you just found out that you had no idea who people were?
I at first, my dad has it too.
So
I actually got it like congenitally or whatever. But so I always was like, oh, it's normal to think everyone looks the same. And then my dad and I saw this documentary on it, like 60 minutes. And my mom just was like, that's what you guys have. And so I took the test and I was like, oh yeah, I do.
So your dad went his whole life without knowing.
Yeah, he had to be like in his 50s when my mom was like, you guys have this.
Wow. I can't,
yeah.
I can't imagine having like all those dates that he must have gone on with your mom. Did he recognize her each time?
My mom's like 6 feet tall, so hopefully.
Yeah.
Maybe he was just like, let's get one a little different.
Well, because I've heard that with this, I mean, they're like people with it, they do have like ways of remembering people based on like a certain piece of clothing that they wear every time. You just focus on ugly faces, apparently. Do you have any tricks with that?
Yeah, it's always haircuts. I didn't realize I'd memorized my friend's whole closet. Voices are very important, but sometimes, because I have a friend who's a neuroscientist, he was telling me sometimes movement's important. And I've noticed like if people stand still, you won't know, but like people have their own way that they move and you can be like, oh yeah, that's Craig.
Oh, wow.
So basically if I had like 3 other people with Tourette syndrome, long hair and a beard in this room, you would have no idea which is which.
Yeah. Oh yeah, beards. I like don't just shave your face or something. Beards are kind of easier to recognize, or like a mustache and stuff. Like that's helpful because it's not your face, it's hair.
Oh.
This is like a public service announcement to everyone with a beard. Don't shave off your beard because one day Fiona might meet you and she needs to know who you are.
Well, I used to have a joke in Los Angeles though, because I swear to God, I was having issues with everyone in Los Angeles doing comedy is a white guy with a beard wearing a baseball cap. And like I had like 3 to 4 of them who would come up and be nice to me and I didn't know who they are. And so like I said on stage, I'm like, you guys are nice to me, but if one of you isn't, you're ruining it for all of you. Like, I'm not going to pick out who's who.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever have that issue with like when you're going to a gig? If like there's like someone who booked you multiple times, do you ever have a problem recognizing them?
I like comedy because usually comics they look weird.
Yeah.
So there's usually something about them you can pick out.
That's so true.
That's
Yeah.
very. She would have the hardest time here in Iceland because
Oh, yeah.
because the thing is, so the Icelandic population, so all of Iceland is about 360,000 people. That's it. That's the entire population. And there's like this long running joke that like everyone pretty much looks the same because they all look like they have the same parents.
Yeah, no, I would not do well there.
Like you'd get here and like someone would start talking to you and you'd be like, yeah, I just met you like the other day, didn't I?
Yeah.
So do you like smelly people?
Oh, no, I haven't really used my nose too much. No.
So you don't like, oh, this guy. Yeah. He always
No,
maybe just
I've never
maybe
done that.
maybe aftershave or maybe bad smell. It could be a good smell. You know. So you don't use that as at all.
No, I've never used smell, but that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, actually, speaking of that, have you found that some of like, because they like people always talk about how like when someone's blind, other senses are heightened. Do you find that because of the facial recognition problem that other senses like kind of compensate for that?
No, but I used to intern at a neurospatial lab and I let it slip that I had the face blindness because we were experimenting on people just showing celebrity faces and being like, how do you feel about them? And I was like, I'm not taking this test. And they were like, ooh, can we experiment on you? And I was like, sure. Because they're like, because we think people with face blindness get lost a lot. And I was like, yeah, cool. I was hoping for something special.
No, you just get lost a lot. Yeah.
They have no data on it because they couldn't find anyone else with face blindness.
Wow. But I'm kind of curious. Like, when you see a face, is it kind of blurry or is it just you just?
No, I see it.
Yeah, just everybody looks the same.
No, I see the face. I just can't. My brain will never remember it. So when I come back to looking at you, I'll be like, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
So is it more of a memory issue than an actual like visual issue?
To me, it's like a memory issue.
Okay.
Yeah.
By the way, I love the fact that did you go from interning in neuroscience to interning at Funny or Die, or did you go from Funny or Die to neuroscience? Because one of those two sounds like it's like there's a story there.
I went from the neuroscience to Funny or Die.
But you did
What?
say before we started that you are no longer an intern at Funny or Die. I don't want to like spark up any like unwanted like memories of
I got
Will
the temp, though.
Will Ferrell showed up one day and he was just like, you know what, you're not recognizing any of us, get out of here.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, when I was interning there, they wanted me to like valet for this celebrity once.
Oh.
I might have just been like Adam McKay or something to them. And they were like, go downstairs. And it was funny because they were like, go valet for Adam McKay. And I'm like, what does he look like? And I sat down and I'm like, they're like, why are you here? So I sat down with another intern who was working the front desk because I had to watch for him to come in to be like, I'll take your car keys, sir, and park it somewhere nice.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, I don't want to like drive a famous guy's car. No. And I've been hit by so many cars in my life. Don't trust me.
To be fair though, I feel like you're the one that I would like always hire for that gig, because like if I was working somewhere and always getting celebrities that needed their car parked, I would ask the person who won't get starstruck to park their car.
Oh, I've never been starstruck. So when I was at the front desk, is it something Cho? She's a
Margaret Cho.
Margaret Cho. I was gonna say Megan Cho. Margaret Cho came in. I was at the front desk. She asked me for directions. I'm like, yeah, through the stairs or whatever. And then I went back to what I was doing and I was like, that Asian woman looked a lot like Margaret Cho, but I'm just being racist.
No, it was her.
And it turned out to be her.
It was her, yeah.
I mean, to be fair, this conversation would have taken a very, very awkward turn if it wasn't her.
Oh yeah.
No, it absolutely was though. Because I didn't know. I didn't know she had so many tattoos, and then I was like, "Wait a second!" I googled her, and I was like, "Oh, that's her."
Yeah,
but yeah.
I mean, yeah. It must like happen, and especially to your dad, like through the years, that people just thought it was being rude or just like, why didn't you recognize me?
Oh, yeah. I'm overly friendly to strangers because I don't want to be seen as rude.
Yeah.
But it can be funny sometimes, especially with women, because women will also be fake with you. Like I was at my brother's wedding. So I was like, oh, I know everyone here. And I was looking at this woman and I'm like, my cousin's being such a bitch right now. And she could tell I was looking at her too. And I was like, just say hi, Marielle, you bitch. And I was like, fine, I'm going to walk over and make her say hi. And I walked her over and I was like, hey, it's good to see you. And she went, hey, and she hugged me and stuff. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to go now. And I walked away. Not my cousin, not related to her. But I made her think that we knew each other because I so confidently was like, give me a hug, bitch.
And you're best friends now, right?
No, I don't know. I couldn't pick her out again.
To be fair, that had to have been the highlight of her day, though. Just someone coming over going, give me a hug, bitch.
No, I didn't say give me a hug, bitch. I did the like fake girl thing. Hey, oh my God, so good to see you. Yeah. And then
go ahead.
And then my cousin came over later and gave me a hug, and I was like, oh, that's my cousin.
Because I was gonna say, like, I just imagined like someone just coming up to me and being like, hey George, how have you been? It's good to see you. Like, I feel like as a comedian, like now I would just play along. Because
yes, you have to.
Yeah, I'd just be like, yeah, how you been? Dale, it's Jeremy. Come on, we've met like 20 times. Yes, Jeremy, of course.
Well, I love that she was with a man, and I was like, my hoe cousin, she just always bringing some new man around, and it was probably that woman's like husband or something. Yeah.
Oh man, that's fantastic. But I was gonna ask though if you ever had this problem with relatives. So you have had issues with relatives.
Yeah.
Well, not issues with them maybe, but issues with recognition.
Yeah, I always get confused. Like there's a few family members I'm like, I know who you are, but like at big family events where like all the extended cousins come, I get lost and I just get really fake. And I'm like, hey, but I don't know how to be like, how's your job going? You know, I don't.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. And how long did you so I mean with like everything real, like all disorders and syndromes, like a lot of people tend to like keep things a secret for a long time because like it can be awkward, it can be uncomfortable, you know, a lot of those reasons. Did you keep this a secret when you were younger, or have you always been open about it?
I immediately wanted to be very open about it. I'm like, okay, this is because I think being like, I'm face blind, guys. That's why if I'm rude to you at some point, like, this is why. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Right.
And because I think it gives me an excuse. Like, I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm not like, you know, I wasn't trying to be rude because otherwise I can come off as a bitch. And so I wanted to be open, but I'm from a small town in Maryland and my mom was like, don't tell people, you're going to be the freak. So I like kept it quiet for her in high school. But as soon as I came to college, I was like, hey, everyone, I'm face blind. You people are confusing. Yeah.
How old were you when you like got the diagnosis or realized that's what you had?
I want to say like 14 or 15.
No.
Okay. Yeah. But you were born with it. So you had it the whole time. You just found out later.
Yeah. I remember when I was growing up, that I was like, oh, it's normal to think everyone's alike. I can't wait till I hit puberty and be able to differentiate people. I thought that was like, I thought my brain needed to develop more.
just needed a little push in the right direction.
Yeah.
And when did you start? Do you talk about it in your comedy?
I try to, but so it was funny because when I first started doing comedy, I'm like, of course, this is going to be my thing. And I'd tell jokes about it and I'd get hecklers yelling at me, you know, that's a real thing. You're being inconsiderate. And I'd be like, I have it. I said I have it.
Yeah.
And like people would think I'm being fake.
Oh, okay.
That's crazy because I've noticed actually, and I was talking to someone recently about this on this podcast about Tourette's syndrome because he also has Tourette's syndrome, and I was saying it's amazing that like the Tourette community can be so loving and caring, but even people with Tourette's syndrome doubt that other people with Tourette's syndrome have it.
Really?
Yeah, and it's something that I've noticed because it's almost like people can't, like they know it's a real thing, But it's like when they finally see someone with this, it's like they don't believe that it's actually possible.
Huh.
So I'm wondering if that's the issue is that they're like it's a real thing, but then they actually see you and they're like, I mean, there's no way that she could actually be having this.
That's what, so I haven't met another person with it. I've met a friend who I'm like, dude, you have it. Like, I promise you're so lost all the time. And he was like, no, I don't. No, I don't. And so I don't know, but I've never met someone else who legitimately has it. And I wonder if they'd size me up and be like, you don't have it.
You're faking it.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
To be fair though, it's hard to fake something when it's called like prosopagnosia. I mean, just knowing that word should be enough to say I have it.
Yeah.
Like,
well, or I could just Google unique diseases that are easy to pretend I have.
Oh, I guess there is that.
Yeah, and then just memorize the name. Yes.
Yeah.
The Prosopagnosia is good.
Yeah. What do I have today? What am I going for today? Yeah, because I've noticed on TikTok because and I can't believe I'm talking about TikTok. This is one of those things like I feel like once you I've been trying to get this TikTok thing, and I'm not even that old, but I feel like once you get to a certain age, you just should not like try out the new technologies because then it just seems really weird that you're talking about it. Like I'm in my 30s talking about TikTok and that just feels weird. But we're going to talk about it.
I'm addicted to it. So
but I've noticed that it always seemed like it was kind of like it was hard to find people that were really faking Tourette syndrome. But now you go on TikTok and it's just there's so many videos of people with Tourette syndrome that like I've been hearing like that a decent number of them are faking it for views and I'm just like, so that's why there's 3 billion views on hashtag Tourette.
Yeah, there's this guy I love watching who cooks with Tourette's or whatever, but he'll like be doing stuff and then he'll like drop it and be like, oh, or like put it on your head or something.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm very entertained, but I'm like, what if I found out he's faking it? I was like, don't bring it up in the interview. He'll be like, that guy's a fraud, right?
Yeah, but I and that's the thing. I've genuinely had like there was I did a show once, like we were doing our stand-up show, My Voices Have Tourette's, which is so weird to say when we're doing a podcast called My Voices Have Tourette's. But I was we did the show and there was a guy in the audience with Tourette syndrome who came up to me afterward and he was just like, real quick, do you actually have Tourette syndrome? And I was like, yes, I actually have it. And he goes, good, because otherwise you would have been the biggest dick on the planet. And I'm just like, oh, come on.
Yeah, I have had people be like, wait, do you actually have the face blindness? I'm like, I hate you. But it's like, mine is just like, oh, I'm saying things about how I feel. You like have stuff you see. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, it is hard. It is hard to hide the Tourette's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I did. To be fair, I did do it for a long time. But it's very painful to be able to do it. So I've just gotten to the point where I'm like, you know what? Call me the twitchy guy. Call me the squeaky guy. Worst case scenario, I make money from stand up because of it. That's a good worst case scenario.
No, it's definitely a unique perspective. Yeah.
And did you find that? Because I'm also wondering, because you said you haven't done talked a lot about it on stage. Are there any parts of it that maybe you don't talk about on stage because you just simply don't find it funny?
I don't know.
Or is it mostly just the fact that people have not believed that you had it?
It's mostly people don't believe I have it, and then I have a hard time explaining it in a quick, snappy way to an audience when I have 3 to 5 minutes at a mic,
Right.
Yeah.
It also is weird though, because I find that when you talk about neurodiversity or mental health in a stand-up set and you only get 5 minutes, it's like that has to be your whole set because you don't really have time to go away from that, or people are just like, wait, what was that about being autistic? What was this?
Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. Is it for my level, is it worth it to develop now? Or should I have it wait till I can work on it in 20-minute sets where you can bring it up, bring it down, tinker, and then bring it back up and have a closer.
Yeah, exactly. Now we are getting close to the end of here though. But before we go, there was one other thing that I wanted to talk about because I saw that And you mentioned that before we started here that you graduated from it, so you're no longer working here, but you used to be a booker at Laughology, and I thought that I thought it was kind of interesting. I wanted to know, look, what was it like being on the booking side as opposed to the performing side?
It was really fun. I don't know. I guess it's the equivalent of like fantasy football.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, he's funny. I want him on that show. Like, it's like you get to just go like, I want him and I want him. And the school would fund me, so it wasn't like my money. So I was just like, and I want that guy. I want Todd Glass.
Nice.
And then you just like make sure you make time for the students and stuff. And then it was a lot of like who gets to open for who. And then like with students, you had to be like, no, you went up last week, but this guy wants to go up for Moshe Kasher, so you get to go up or whatever. You had to like share it amongst the group, but it was great.
Yeah, because I've noticed, having booking experience myself, it is the most stressful part of comedy ever.
Yeah.
Because of the fact because people don't realize this, like the amount of drama that is among comedians. You could write a whole Grey's Anatomy episode about it. That's how much drama there can be among comedians. And it's always like, oh, why did you make me open? I don't want to open. Oh, why did you make me before this person? This person sucks. Why do I have to go before them? Why can't I go after them? It's always something.
There's like one guy who'd kind of talk like that. And it was like, dude, you're like not even that good. Like everyone else, like comics are just happy to get booked is what I saw and paid, like, cause I could pay them.
Yeah. I mean, money. I guess it also depends though, to be fair, it also depends on like where you're located, because I mean, in LA, there might be like, 5,000 comedians at the draw of a hat. Whereas in Iceland, there's what, like 30 of us in total?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. I used to have this like female comic friend who would like, I don't look at social media that much. And she'd be like, I can't believe this guy got booked. He sucks. And she'd text me every time one of our friends got booked and be like, fucking so mad. And I'd be like, every time I check my phone, I was like, this is just toxic. Like,
yeah.
I didn't need to feel that way. Like, can't I just be like, cool, he got that show. I'll get one next time. Like,
right. Exactly. And that's to be fair, though, I mean, everyone should just, like, I've gotten used to the fact that, like, when I'm booked for a show, I just trust that I'm getting put in the right spot. And like, the way I've been told is by a friend of mine who books tons of shows. He said the thing is, trust the booker and like, above all else, try to be the best comedian of the night. Because if everyone is trying to be the best comedian of the night, realistically, the order does not matter.
Yeah. Well, have you ever been booked on a show that you're like, the booker was psycho, or you're like, that was absolute bullshit or something?
Well, being the fact that most of the people that have booked me have been friends of mine, yes, I have had that situation before. Every single one of them. No, I've had, I mean, and look, like there have been times like where someone is new to booking, and I don't necessarily think that they're like, I wouldn't necessarily say they're psychotic or whatever for putting things the way they did. It just comes with experience,
Yeah. I got booked on this show in LA once, and I was like, ooh, it's a show. It was not a show. They billed it as a show. It was like, and I ran into the booker because I show up early, and he's got like pizza all down his face.
Oh no.
And he just like had this like really long talk with me. Like, and I remember him mentioning like I had a shirt with like little horsey print on it or something, and he had the Hulk on his, and he's like, it'd be cool if our shirts traded and that you had little Hulks and I had a horsey. And I was And I was like, I have to go do something. So I just sat in the bar next door so I wouldn't have to be near him. And then the show was just this stage in the middle of a bar that like wasn't even open yet, that there were like claw marks on the walls of the bar. and there was like a guy with a DJ booth who would just like play alarms during your set. And
I did one of those. I did one of those in Chicago. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I shouldn't be here. I should just leave. Dude. I love when they go like, hey, do you have any credits? And you like give them and they go, cool. And then they go, and this is Fiona Reid. And you're like, why'd I bother?
Why'd I bother giving you the credits if you're not even going to read them?
Yeah, and they have the note.
Yeah.
My favorite part of that whole story is the fact that there's claw marks on the walls. Because that makes me think that there were shows that were so bad that people were trying to literally claw their way out to get out of the show.
It looked scary. I was like, is this a real like bar?
I do. Now that you mention it, though, I did a show, my first show in the States, because I started in Iceland doing comedy. But my first show in the States was in Chicago, and it was the weirdest gig I have done to this day. And that includes Zoom gigs, because I got there and it was an open mic. I called in advance and I told them that I was from Iceland because I mean, let's face it, use what you can, right? So I told them that I'm from Iceland, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we'll definitely get you on the lineup." I get there and I go backstage, and the host doesn't even look up from like his phone and just goes, "Name," and I was just like, Dan Zarin, and he just pulls a sheet, like didn't even look at me, and he just goes, "All right, so you work here, but you're getting bumped because this guy's more important than you. Just wait back there." And I was like, "Is like really? Why am I gonna want to perform now? What are you doing here?" And then this guy comes up, and he's just like, "Hey, so I've got other gigs that I need to get to. Do you mind if I go on early?" And so so I got bumped a second time for this guy, and I'm just thinking, okay, well, if this guy's got gigs, because again, first time performing in the States, I'm like, this guy has to be pretty good. He bombed so bad, and then went off stage and just for literally like 25 minutes, even after I had already performed, he was standing on his phone, and I'm just thinking, didn't you have a gig to get to? It was possibly the worst live gig I've ever done in my life. So that one was pretty weird.
I had one where the club owner wanted to have a talk with me in a closet afterwards.
What?
Really?
Yeah, he didn't like my set. I don't perform well for old white people, and he's like, "We have to talk." And it was funny because he was like, "When you first start comedy, how long have you been doing comedy?" And this is like in a fucking closet. I'm like, ugh. And he's like, I'm like 3 years. And then you like pause, and he's like, "Well, when you first start comedy, you should never curse." And I'm like, okay.
Oh, geez. Well, I guess on that note, we're gonna exit the closet now, and that was a horrible way of going into the ending here. Before we go, first of all, Fiona, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
We should connect her with what's her name again?
Heather.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. The person that we interviewed with, who also has prosopagnosia.
Yeah.
That is like a tongue twister. You can't say it's like you can't say it 5 times fast. Prosopagnosia. Nope.
Prosopagnosia.
Yeah. Oh, is it prosopagnosia?
Yeah, I didn't correct you the whole show.
You didn't correct me the whole time. I did the whole other interview saying it that way too.
Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I've just always heard prosopagnosia.
I mean, to be fair, that sounds so much more scientifically accurate.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, he has an accent or something.
Yes, we're going to talk about prosopagnosia. But where can people find out more information about you?
Oh, about me. I thought you were going to say prosopagnosia. I was like, I just Google it.
Yeah.
My Instagram is @FionaIsFunny, and yeah, that's where I put most of my stuff.
Cool.
Excellent. That's easy enough. And if you want to find out more information about Þórhallur, you can find him on basically everywhere at Þórhallur83. Don't worry about the Icelandic letter. It's just THORLLUR.
That's correct.
83.
83.
I almost forgot how to spell your name for a second. You weird ass name.
I'm sorry.
Your parents must have hated you giving you this same name. But I know you can find out me on all the social medias at Dan Zarin Comedy. And now for the part that no one has been waiting for, the outro. So if you want to find out more information about My Voices Have Tourettes, I've been doing this as John Lovitz lately, and I don't know why. If you want to find out more information about My Voices Have Tourettes, find out about us at My Voices Have Tourettes. That's a weird no. At My Voices Have Tourettes on Facebook, Instagram. We have MBHT Show on Twitter. We have MBHT Show. We also have, if you want to support the show, you can check out our brand new Patreon, where we're going to be we're going to be releasing some bonus episodes, things we don't talk about on this podcast. If you want to hear more about jerking off horses, that is the place to check it out.
We're going to have a 5-hour special on that.
5-hour special. Just check out My Voices Have Tourette's on Patreon, or check out patreon.com/MVHT show. If you have any suggestions or topics for the show, check out our Facebook group. It's MVHT Podcast Discussion Group. It's on Facebook. We talk about all sorts of things, all sorts of fun things. And if you have any suggestions or any of that stuff, that's the place to do it. Just when you thought there was nothing left, there's more. So I'd like to thank our sponsors, GameStop Studio, where we're recording the Secret Cellar Iceland's first and only comedy club, and Smouty's Volcano Sauce is the greatest hot sauces I've ever had in my life. Let's start speeding up. If you are listening to us on Spotify or any of that bullshit, yes, you can feel free to like and subscribe and follow all that fun stuff.
You can find us on Grindr.
No, not yet. Not
Okay,
yet. We will be there eventually. But if you like the podcast, leave us a 5-star review. But if you hated it, or if you think that Fiona is just making all this stuff up, just leave us a 1-star review. We'll probably still ask her to be back on the show in the future because she was a great guest and really, really funny. But you know, boo-hoo to you. That was like the most like unintentionally aggressive part of that ever. Other than that, thank you all so much for listening. We appreciate all of you, and check out new episodes every Tuesday.